1.13 rundown. This patch looks a lot bigger than 6.12 was. Yeah, it looks a lot bigger than 6.12 was. But there's a lot of stuff in this patch that I'm excited to read about, so we're going to find out in a second. Blitzcrank, E duration decreased, R cooldown changed, Rocket Grab now pulls enemies 75 units in front of Blitzcrank rather than directly on top of him. I guess that's a little bit of, I don't know that interaction. Does that mean that he can no longer power fist? Well, no, he must be able to still power fist pull. He doesn't have to step backwards. Power fist duration 10 seconds to 5 seconds. Power fist and powered basic attack can no longer be cancelled. That's actually pretty nice. R static field 30 seconds to 60, 40, 20 seconds. So Blitzcrank isn't really picked in competitive, but this will affect his solo queue chaos, although I think there was a few instances where he could have been picked competitive, most notably against the Soraka team comps that, you know, came out so heavily, and I think in some other few situations, but he's a very, very niche pick. And so it's not like the best, but these picks will make him less feared, or these changes will make him less feared of a pick in solo queue for sure, especially because of the static field. It's going to be on a lower cooldown later, but by the end game, that's not ever something that you really worry about. Lulu. Base mana goes to 350, base movement speed to 330, Glitter Lance now falls to 70% against targets hit beyond the first, slow duration 2, okay. Whimsy now also grants 15, 20, 25, what? So these are the changes that I read about on the PBE a while ago, but I didn't think that they would actually ever go through. So if there's any way to pilot Juggermaw back into the meta, this would be a way to do it. This also is probably going to make it so that it's potentially viable to bring back Lulu in top and mid lane. And this will probably just propel her back into the meta. These changes are way too big. I don't know how that's actually fair. Giving her a free 30% attack speed, 35. I'm even sure that this could actually create wonky stuff now. In complete seriousness, with Lulu in mid and top, because she can cast it on herself and gain attack speed, and that can be a little bit problematic. So we'll see what that ultimately means for Lulu, but I'm 100% sure she'll come back now in mid-top and as support. I don't know about the jungle. I know that there was a lot of people wondering about the Lulu jungle because Spirit was playing it a lot in the EU West, but these changes would certainly help. There's none of the AP changes, though. If people remember the PBE update to Lulu, I think that there was a 0.10 on both the Q and the E that ultimately gave her 0.20 extra AP in her full combo. So nonetheless, Lulu coming back to a lane near you. Tahm Kench, my love. So passive changed, Q damage increased, shield, E shield weakened, R range increased. So here we go, passive and acquired taste. So this used to be the thing that you used to gain on his ultimate. So basic attacks and abilities deal 1.25, 1.5% at levels 1, 11, and 16 of Tahm Kench's maximum health as bonus magic damage. So the good thing about this is it's Tahm Kench's maximum health. It's not just his bonus health, but the difference is that the ultimate used to grant also, I think, a flat amount of damage. So even though it's technically a little bit less damage early on, it's technically a huge buff to his laning phase, levels 1 through 5. At full stacks, it's still probably going to be a buff as well. At level 6 through, well, not at level 6, but maybe at like level 9 or something, whenever you complete your first item, it's going to be a little bit stronger than the old Tahm Kench's ultimate used to be. So he's going to have this weird little laning phase thing where he's really strong levels 1 through 5, he falls off at 6, as weird as that can be, and then at like level 7, 8, or 9, he kicks in again, and he gets stronger than the old Tahm used to be at level 6. But to make matters worse, the Q, Tongue Lash, which is going to be at level, it's going to have 3 points in it at level 5, so you're going to have 80 130, 180, 230, 280. So at rank 3, Tahm is now going to have an extra 10 damage in the lane, except on top of that, he's going to have the acquired taste. So if you cast it at 3 stacks, it's more so going to be an extra 30 damage or something in lane, depending on who you hit it on, or whatever their resistances are. So that's actually really, really, really powerful. The other change to this that has happened is the old PBE said that it was only Tahm's tongue abilities, which include his auto attack and his Q. This is now actually all of his abilities. So his Devourer also still contains the amplified damage from an acquired taste. So late game, Tahm Kench is dealing about an extra 150 damage per auto attack and on spell usage, and I'm using around 3,500 HP to give that estimate, and it's going to be really easy for him to do that. So Tahm Kench gets really buffed levels 1 through 5. He gets slightly nerfed around level 6, and then he gets a massive buff as the game goes on. But the E thick grayskin, damage to gray health conversion, 100% of damage taken to 70, 75%, 80, 85, 90%. So late game, the damage taken is still going to be roughly the same. Gray health to healing conversion, 20, 26, 32, 38, 44 to 25, 30, 35, 40, 45%. So it's basically still the same. There's just a slight nerf. The shield duration, though, being 6 seconds to 3 seconds, I actually don't think this is the end of the world, because very rarely does Tahm ever have the entire skin duration last. Usually either it gets blown through when he's tanking, or it lasts to a point where it just doesn't even matter. Cooldown 16, 15, 14, 13, 12 to 6 seconds. This is gigantic for his trading potential inside of the laning phase. Shield no longer decays over the duration. That's kind of nice. So there's a little bit of a nerf to his E, but this doesn't really matter, I think, in the wake of his massive buffs that come in from all the other areas. The one thing that this would affect, if anything, though, is support Tahm Kench. So I think that all of these changes are mostly centered at top Tahm and jungle Tahm. And with the changes to Cinderhulk a few patches ago, and with the gutting to Devourer, now that it doesn't really work anymore, and the new Blood Razor sucks significantly compared to the old Devourer, at least on jungle Tahm Kench, I think that Cinderhulk Tahm actually is the go-to, so that's going to be nice. Now, our Abyssal Voyage, it's on the passive, no longer deals 246% of Tahm Kench's bonus health as damage on attacks and abilities. Channel duration 15 to 6 seconds. Cast delay 1 second to 0.25 seconds. Enemy warning time 1.5 seconds to 1 second. Range 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 to 4,500, 5,500, 6,500. Really nice buffs there, especially in the early game, and nonetheless, nothing that you really need to complain about. So Tahm Kench gets massive buffs in 6.13, and I'm really happy to see them, but I know that solo queue is not. And that's really nice, because that also means that he'll probably come back in competitive, because he has some really nice matchups right now in top lane, but the problem is the changes to other champions inside of the meta, and then him getting hit a while ago. He got Kale syndromed, where people thought that he had fallen off completely, but that's not the case. So this is good, and it'll propel him back in. Moving on to Thresh. Epic monsters give 2 souls, W scaling changed. Okay, so passive Damnation. Soul of the Lord's epic monsters now drop 2 souls. Dark Passage. AP ratio 0.4, ability power removed. Oh, okay. Soul ratio now grants +1 shield per soul collected. So I don't know actually off the top of my head, and I apologize, how many souls Thresh on average collects a game. But I'm going to assume that this is a buff, considering Thresh doesn't normally get too much ability power from anything when he's in the support role. So I guess this is probably going to provide... I don't know. I actually don't know how many souls this guy actually collects. With the epic monsters, though, now dropping 2 souls, I guess he'll get a little bit more, depending on if his team can capture them all. I guess he gets like an extra 8 or 10 per game, so that's not bad at all. Alright, moving on to Zyra. There was that Zyra one-trick pony guy that streamed on, or he posted on Reddit the other day. Passive, Garden of Thorns, 11 to 6.75 seconds at levels 1 through 18, 13 through 8.5. So a little bit of a nerf for Zyra. and that's actually fair because Zyra's support was actually disgusting, especially in solo queue. Q, Deadly Spines. Fixed a bug where plants spawned by Deadly Spines would automatically target enemy champions even if Zyra hadn't damaged them. Well, that's unfortunate. W, Rampant Growth. Ammo recharge time, 17 to 13, goes to 20 to 12. So a lot of nerfs coming in for Zyra. I don't think this will be the end of the day. She's probably just more so going to be more of a niche pick rather than just be an abusive lane bully, which she's always been. And these changes bring her in line a lot more, so that's nice. So let's see. Chrono Shift. Fix a bug where Chrono Shift wasn't proccing on heal effects. That doesn't really matter. I mean, it does in some cases, I guess, but not really. Gnar. Mini Gnar range scaling up, Q returns farther, W damage ups. That's really nice for Gnar. And this is really nice because it's really helping change the top lane meta. Gnar is already currently a top lane champion that can be brought back, mostly because of the Aralia and the Shen and the Trundle being picked in top lane. And also sometimes, at least in solo queue, Darius gets picked. So Gnar has a lot of benefits there. And these buffs are only going to further help him in the current meta that's occurring in top lane. And we've shifted away from the double AP metas and all the other stuff. So this is really nice for Gnar. 400 to 485 goes to 400 to 500, so he gets 15 extra range at level 18. That's not the end of the world, but it is notable. Boomerang throw, 2500 to 3000. That is really, wow, that's really big. Okay. W, Hyper, 10 to 15, now goes 15 to 55, so that's really big too. It's only an extra 5 damage, but if you think that, you proc it, let's say, 4 or 5 times in the laning phase, even early on, that's going to be an extra, 25 damage. So that can definitely help. The hyper change, it's very, very small, but it's noticeable over time, so that's good. Aralia, R cooldown up. I don't think Aurelia's problem was necessarily Transcendent Blades, but one of the problems is that generally Aralia could get 20% CDR extremely early, and most notably with just the Stinger and the Sheen. So when she returns to lane with 20% CDR, just having hit level 6, it already makes it so that basically she can come back to lane, ulti the lane, trade with you, etc., and there's nothing you can really do about it, and because it gives her so much healing, she's able to circumvent a lot of other problems with the laning phase. So with the cooldowns going up to 110, it's definitely going to affect how Aralia can play the laning phase. If I'm going to think of a patch notes change that is a lot similar to this, people might remember that Vayne's ultimate cooldown used to be on something like a 30-second or like a 40-second cooldown, and then it got gutted to the point where you could no longer just, come back to lane, cast it, come back to lane, cast it, and Vayne was forced to play a little bit differently. That was a very, very long time ago, and I guess that it's the same thing that's going to happen to Aralia. That will impact her laning phase, but I don't think it's what's needed to really tune her, because this is a champion that is primarily being affected by the influence of items and other champions that currently exist in the meta, rather than her kit actually being broken, so not too much of a problem there. Jarvan the 4th, increased W teamfight value. Base shield goes from 50 to 210 to 50 to 170. Bonus shield per enemy champion, 20 to 60 to 20 to 100. So late game, he's gonna get a pretty big shield as long as he can safely hit. I guess, 2 champions, he'll get larger shield value than he ever got before, and the radius is 500 to 600. Jarvan generally is not someone that just ultis one target. He is not your bronze solo queue Malphite that ultis the full tank Trundle. He's generally going to be hitting at least 2 or 3 champions with that proc, so that's not going to be the end of the world, and it's a pretty nice buff to him. I don't think this is what he needs, though, to come back into the meta. I think that he's facing a lot of other problems in the jungle right now, so it doesn't mean that it's not nice for him to have it, but I don't think this is enough to make him come back, so unfortunate there. Kindred, I think these are more nerfs if I remember talking about it with people, but let's see. Base armor 27 to 20, armor growth stat 3.25 to 3.5. Okay, well, that's a little bit weird because now that makes her jungling a little bit more wonky. Hunter's Vigor no longer grants a heal. Okay, well, Wolfgang. Wolf now maims a jungle monster, reducing their attack speed and movement. That doesn't do anything. Why did you just kill Kindred, Riot? Why did You just made a skin for her. What are you doing? Don't you get how this works? Don't you get she's your moneymaker? It's okay. She'll be back in a few patches because that's how Riot works. York, who? Anyways, Swain, our cooldown and recast lockout up. Okay, Ravenous Flock, cooldown 10 seconds to 20 seconds. Oh, wow. I don't know exactly how much CDR Swain gets, so I don't know how much this really impacts him, because I think that he was at the point where he could just almost tick on and off his ultimate, but I may be wrong. I know the old Swain was like that, but I don't know how much this affects him. But generally when Swain turns on his ultimate, it's almost not coming off for the duration of the team fight, so I don't know why this is such a problem. Initial lockout on recast 0.5 to 2 seconds. Okay. Anyways, Syndra. With Syndra's update a few patches ago, it's clear that some of her older and harder to track down bugs are holding her back from feeling effective. Syndra's skirmishing power depends on her flow between combos, so we're patching up some of the holes. And okay, Force of Will fixed a bug where Force of Will would only grab 2 spheres at max rank based on where she clicked. Fixed a bug where crowd-controlled grabbing an object could put Force of Will on cooldown. Okay, that's some nice bug fixes. R Unleash Power now continues to check for spheres during the entire cast duration rather than only on cast. So what, she can cast her ultimate and then cast a Q, and the Q will join her ultimate like a black hole? Is that what that means? If that's what that means, that's actually really good. Like, I don't know what to say about that. Now, this actually makes it... So, this noobifies her 7-sphere ultimate, which you had to plan in order to do it and pull it off. But it noobifies it. But I wonder if it doesn't technically noobify it. I wonder if you can get an 8-sphere ultimate off. So, you can probably do an 8-sphere ultimate now. If you knew how to do the 7-sphere ultimate before, you can now probably do the 8-sphere. I wonder if you can do a 9-sphere if you have 45% CDR, but who are we kidding? You would never do that anyway. Trundle, health regen down. Okay. Because this guy needs health regen to go down. I mean, it'll affect his laning phase a little bit. So what is this? Per 5 seconds, so he gets 12, so he loses 36 HP per minute. That's, I guess that's actually kind of big. So pre-first recall, he's losing almost a health pot. I guess that's not bad. That's actually, holy shit. Wait, actually, that's not just okay, that's really bad. It only affects the early game, but wow. So Trundle's not going to be as much of a bully as he was before, so that's okay. Q doesn't accidentally drop Twitch into stealth instantly. Fixed a bug where ambush's stealth delay would instantly complete if Twitch killed an enemy champion. Okay. Wladimir. Passive ratio reverted to pre-work, Q base damage down, but ratio up. Alright. Wladimir I don't think is a very good champion. I know that he gets a lot of attention, in other regions right now, but that's more so because his kit is able to be beaten by proper coordination and proper team play, and I know that he's a little oppressive in the laning phase in some matchups, but he's not as strong as a lot of people think. So these type of changes are going to be a little bit more problematic for him, because it's going to mean that he's going to slowly and gradually probably fall out of the meta. It might take a few months, but he's on his way out, so that's okay. Volibear, W damage and attack speed down at early rate. So, see, this is one of those weird solo queue nerfs where it's sort of like they nerfed Katarina like a year ago randomly, and no one understood why, because she was never picked in competitive. Volibear is a very, very nice solo queue stomper, and so he's getting nerfed here, even though he's never been picked in competitive. But the reasons for him not being picked in competitive has nothing to do with the damage, it has to do inherently with his kit, and so it's interesting how they don't change his kit. Ziggs, more bug fixes. Bouncing Bomb will consistently explode when bouncing near large units such as Baron, Dragon, and 6-stack Cho'Gath. I like how they put 6-stack Cho'Gath. Terrain abilities. Dynamically created terrain attempts to preserve your pathing commands. What? Now path straight towards the dynamically created terrain instead of trying to go long ways around it. This mimics Talia's Weaver Wall function. Oh, that's actually really nice. Okay. Howling Abyss. Okay, items. Oh, this is all Howling Abyss changes. These aren't actual itemization changes. So this doesn't have to do with, wait. Howling Abyss. So this doesn't have to do with Summoner's Rift. Alright, we're gonna hope that the items are for Summoner's Rift. Okay, Ancient Coinline. Cooldown reduction, 0% to 5%. This is good because there are a lot of supports that run the 5% CDR level 1, so this will ultimately give them 10% CDR at level 1, so that's really nice. So it's definitely a huge buff to Coin. And the health regen, the mana regen mana regen goes down, health regen goes up. That's not really problematic because at that point in the game, generally the supports use their mana a lot more wisely. Builds up to 20% movement speed over 2 seconds while near turrets fallen. Oh, that's actually really, really nice. Talisman of Ascension. So that might help propel it into competitive in very, very specific situations rather than just the tanky, beefy, or no, not the Eye of Equinox, the other one. But anyways, so the minion execute now scales with health. That's really nice, but that's not really problematic. So this is more so a solo queue buff than it is anything. Forbidden Idol, total cost 550 gold to 850 gold. Forbidden Healing, plus 10% bonus healing and shield power. Oh, okay, yeah, alright, Lulu. Wait, Forbidden, okay, sure. Ardent Sensor, cost and ability power increase, mana regen decrease, now amplifies and heals, heals and shields, okay? 15% bonus healing and shielding power. I still don't think this is enough to make Ardent Sensor viable. They do these wonky changes with some of the, like, forgotten items and nothing really helps. Cost increase, now amplifies healing and shields, Mikhail's Crucible. The cost going up to 2,400 gold is not going to make it impossible to build, so I think this will actually be really fine, and this probably is going to be more of a used item. Now, we also saw at least in the LCK series yesterday, which was 5 hours long, between KT and Gnar Greenwings, that Mikhail's actually could have been built in numerous situations, but they opted against it, which was a little confusing. Ruby Sightstone, combined cost 600 to 400 gold, total cost 1800 to 1600 gold. Active item cooldown reduction 10 to 20%. I don't think that's good enough to make Ruby Sightstone come back in. This is one of those weird items that has just sort of been outshined. And, I mean, it's still going to be the item of choice if you do elect to go for the straight-up Sightstone, so it's really nice buffs, nonetheless, if, you have to go that way. Proto Belt's dashes now disable spellcast and channels for the duration. Oh, abilities can't fire during Proto Belt. Okay. That's actually interesting, so that's kind of a big nerf to Proto Belt, so, wow. Alright. Wards grant experience. Attacking them no longer puts you in combat. That's really nice to mobility boots. Attacking wards will not trigger in combat status for the purpose of mobility boots, Cloud Drake, or Talia's rock surfing. Looking forward, wards now grant 30 experience when killed, 15 for blue wards. For every 150 seconds, that is a ward alive, but it becomes visually swaggier for them to be placed. This is actually really nice on invades, because if you end up killing wards on invades, this might even also open up the possibility of bringing a pink ward with you in competitive for invades, and pink warding early, depending on like who you are as your jungler. And if you can kill a ward, if you can give that experience to your mid or top laner, that means that they can proc level 2 off the first wave. I know that's really weird to say, but that's nice. Catchup Experience. Catchup Experience now scales smoothly. Up until now, Catchup bonuses have scaled with level difference. Sounds logical, but means you get the same bonus whether you need 1 or 1000 XP to fill your XP bar. Those bonuses drop off the moment you level up, even though you're basically just 1 million kill closer to even. This is confusing and weird to balance, so we're modernizing Catchup Experience to scale instead. Catchup Experience now scales continuously with percent missing health, rather than remaining at a set value. Wait, what? Oh, percent missing level. I'm so sorry. You now get more Catchup Experience at 2.5 levels behind, then 2.3 levels behind, then 2 levels behind, etc. This is really sad, because being able to 2-level the enemy jungler is something that is really skillful, honestly. Unless you're on Nidalee, then it's basically expected. So I'm a little sad to see stuff like this. I hate seeing stuff like this. Post-death kill experience. Dead champions now gain experience from nearby kills. Okay, yeah, that's actually cool for late game. To be completely honest, I think that if you are of an assist in a team fight, or you get killed, but then your allies are able to salvage the situation, I think that you should be rewarded for the sacrifice. So that's actually fine. Early kill rewards. Early kills grant less experience. That sucks. Okay. Teleport. Channel time increased. Clarity improvements for both allies and opponents. 4.5 seconds. Oh, man. This really affects top lane teleport because it gives a lot more ability to respond. And then on top of that channel duration, it makes it a lot harder to get off proper teleports. We've seen too many times people teleport in and then have to use flash to get on someone. This means that they're going to have to be a little bit more wiser with their teleports, and they're going to have to think... they're going to have to be more intelligent with how they go about it. Dragons and Rift Herald. Dragons and Rift Herald no longer level up during combat. That's really nice. Attack move. Works properly when used with movement commands. Sorry, marksman. Okay. I don't know if the coding has changed, though, so I think attack mode is still superior to right-click. Rank tier restrictions. Uh-oh. High-tier pre-made skill ranges. Reminder, from Diamond 5 and up, pre-mades are limited to duos or trios. The entire pre-made has to be within 3 division skill range of each other. Diamond, Challenger, Master, Diamond 1. Diamond 2, Diamond 3, Diamond 4, okay? Diamond 5. Diamond 2, Diamond 3, Diamond 4, Diamond 5, Platinum 1, Platinum 2, Platinum... Oh, this is a big change, because it used to be... or at least on Korea, we were having problems with it. Diamond 5 could not queue with anything lower than Plat 2, so that's actually interesting to see. As before, high Platinum players can queue with low Diamond players, but based on the restrictions above, no Diamond players are in the party. Platinum players remain completely unaffected by these changes. That's nice. Schedules for rank 5, that's nice. Bring back solo queue. Bug fixes. Fixed a few cases where Ninja Tabi weren't properly okay, but that's a nice bug fix. Fixed a bug where Fiora would be locked out of flash and teleport if she died during Q lunge until casting lunge again, okay. Alright, so I don't care about the bug fixes. You can read those. So that's nice. Deep Sea Nami. In addition, Soulstealer Vein has been added as a Hex Tech crafting exclusive. Well, let me get to that. Hold on, give me a second. How do I get that? What do I do? What do I open? Do I open this? Wait a minute, I have Talia. Hold on. I don't have Talia. How do I get that? Wait, is it on Korea yet? I don't even know. Anyways, that's it for the patch 6.13 rundown. I hope you enjoyed it. And now I am going to go, as I have to go cast in a few hours. So, alright friends, I skipped this part.